Hey guys, Matt Sloan from Royal LePage Signature here with today's weekly Wednesday video. And today I thought I'd bring on one of the stagers and interior designers that I work with throughout my business, Katie Walker from Toronto Staging Group. So Katie, thank you for being on here today with us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
No problem, pleasure. So why don't we just kick things off with telling everyone a little bit about you and your background and how you got into staging and interior design.
Yeah, so basically, I've always kind of just been into design from a really young age. I always rearranged my bedroom as a kid and just kind of like always had a hand in the decor. I went to school at George Brown for fashion business and was always part of the arts community. And there I learned a lot about composition and aesthetic and balance, which really translates into interior design. From there, I worked as a stylist assistant for music videos, editorial photo shoots, a lot in print and magazines. And then I did that and went into home staging. I started working with a home staging company for about 2 years. And then I eventually started my own company now, Toronto Staging Group.
Awesome. Yeah, and it's been great so far. You've been killing it, and the homes that you've done for me have been awesome, and really appreciate that. So today I just wanted to kind of not so much talk about staging, but everyone's kind of in the same boat right now. We're all locked up in our homes. So everyone's trying to figure out things to do and what they can change in their homes and what trends are going on, and also keeping it in a cost efficient way.
Mhm.
So thought I'd have the expert here to kind of share some of your thoughts and dive into that. So the first one is kind of an obvious one right now, where everyone's kind of working from home, trying to find that workspace, but then also trying to find the space in their home to wind down and keep the two lives separate, even though they're under the same roof right now. So I was wondering if you had any tips for everyone on how to separate your workspace from your home space.
Yeah, so I think that just trying to create that divide between the work mode and the relaxing mode, like you said, is very important. Just from a productivity standpoint, a lot of people, especially here in Toronto, don't have space for a separate office. If you do have, that's great. And I definitely recommend being in a separate space. But if you have to use your main living area, your dining room, your living room, it's really important to try to carve out a space within that. So say you have a dining room table, sitting at your dining room table, trying to create that same space every day, that same chair that you're using, is something that will create the division mentally. So when you sit in that chair, it'll be your workspace. And trying to set something up near a window, I find is really beneficial because that light is energizing. You want to feel airy and like some of the outdoors coming inside with you, so you don't want to feel all cooped up. With that, also having a fresh plant or flowers near you, really just trying to create like a sanctuary or a workspace that feels good to you is really great. I even have like my essential oils here that I kind of try to use to keep on track throughout the day. But yeah, just trying to be as distraction free as possible, but also just making the work a little more pleasurable, having plants, essential oils, light. You don't want to be in a dark space.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are some great points there. So you mentioned like bringing a lot of stuff in for your workspace. Obviously, you know, we're going to have laptops, computers, books, stuff that we would normally have at our office, at our home now.
Mhm.
And also just all the clutter that's happening just from our everyday lives, building up in our homes from being there every day throughout the day with nowhere to go. So I was wondering if you had any like organizing tips for everyone.
For sure. I think one of the keys to organizing, especially just like the workspace that you're in, if you're going to have more files or pens or whatnot, is having a home for each thing. So if you have a lot of loose papers, have a tray beside you that will hold things and contain it. If you have a lot of pens and highlighters and markers, have a pencil holder or like a cup for that. Just having that dedicated space for things creates less clutter and chaos is not what we want when we're working from home.
Yeah. Um, Perfect. So just keeping that kind of those things where they should be and not letting them scatter around everywhere, as it does happen to everyone. But if we can kind of find some dividers to have a home for everything, that will obviously help, especially during this time. Um, so I know, especially myself here, just trying to get away from work at times, looking around the house and trying to figure out, what I can do to make some changes. And obviously, one that hops off right off the bat is like painting a wall, right? Um, Making changing the color in your office or your bedroom or your living space can really change the feel of a room. So I was wondering if you had any recommendations on what paint colors are kind of in right now for, maybe your office or your living space or your room.
Yeah. So in an office space, like I mentioned, with the light or being near a window, making your space feel open and airy is energizing and is more productive. So I think that paint should reflect that as well. So doing something in a light color tone is my go-to for a lot of different rooms in the office, especially. You want to feel just fresh and light. So something in the light grayish tones. So grayish is really a color that's a mix between gray and beige. There's a color by Benjamin Moore called Gray Mist that is, it's quite light and has some of those gray tones and taupe tones, beige tones. So they tie in really well with what you may already have in the space. So if you have a wooden desk, those beige tones will tie in with that and be cohesive. If you have marble with, say, gray veining, the gray tones and the undertones in there will also work with that. So it's a really great catch-all color that will work in most spaces. So I think that's a really good place to start. And then bringing in color and pops and fun trends in with your accessories, your lights, your pillows, accessories of any sort, I think is the best way to do that.
Awesome. So you're kind of going in that direction for my next question there. For people that, maybe don't want to change the color of their home, or maybe they're happy with it, or they just recently painted, but they're looking for other cost efficient ways to maybe change up a space in their home and give it a different vibe or a different feel to the room. What can people do there?
I think the best and the biggest, most inexpensive change, other than paint, would be changing the lighting fixtures. So if you say in your dining room, you have one of those flush mount builder grade, like people call them boob lights.
Oh,
Those are the most, they kind of cheapen a space or don't have enough personality for a space. So you can find an easy fix from Home Depot under $100, and you could just switch that light fixture out to really update the space, modernize it. There's so many different types, like there's over 1,000 on Home Depot last time I checked. So it's really a great way to change that. And I know there's some people may be intimidated by doing hardwiring work, but there's YouTube videos on that. You could do it for under like an hour. You just have to turn all the power off. Just make sure you turn the power off.
yeah, we don't need anyone coming back to us saying they got electrocuted from, oh yeah, Katie said I can do it, no problem.
Yeah,
um, Perfect.
too.
So light fixtures, that's a great option there. Love that one. For people that are looking to take on maybe something big, or change the room in a different way, what kind of trends are you seeing right now?
So the biggest trend that I'm loving right now is arches and curves. So as far as like structural and new builds, or architects are working a lot with arched doorways or arched windows, really beautiful. That being said, a lot of people can't just go ahead and like bust a wall down and make an arched doorway. So you can add those things in by, say, putting in a large floor mirror. This will kind of emulate an arched doorway, but it'll open up the space as well, because a mirror always creates more light in a space. I know West Elm, CB2, I think maybe even IKEA have really beautiful options for this. And yeah, it's a nice way to just like add dimension to a space as well as being trendy.
So kind of curves and what did you say? Curves and
curves and arches. So
Arch-
these are arches
That's
like an arch doorway.
yeah. So
Yeah.
arches, keep eyes out for that if you want to make a little change, trendy change to your home. Um, we'll kind of wrap this up a little bit here, but was wondering what are a couple of your favorite like Instagram people to follow for interior design inspiration and whatnot.
Yeah, I love Instagram is really amazing right now. There's so many amazing designers out there and on Pinterest as well. One of my favorites is Amber Interiors. She's out of California, has really beautiful, homey looking, transitional, contemporary looking places that are very designed but also very comfy. And then there is Chris Loves Julia, which is a renovation blog. So it's really interesting seeing things start from the ground up. But yeah, there's a lot of different options out there, but those are some of my favorites.
Awesome. I'll check those two out for sure. And then finally, where can people find you if they want to kind of pick your brain a little bit more here?
Yeah, we're on Instagram at Toronto Staging Group, and you can just reach out to me there. Just direct message me or check out our website.
Awesome. I know Katie's always great at getting back nice and quick. So if you guys have any questions, want to dig deeper, pick your brain a little bit more, feel free to reach out. But Katie, thank you for taking your time here today to share some of your thoughts and your expertise with us. And yeah, I hope you keep well and stay safe during this time. And hopefully we'll see you again in person soon.
Soon, soon. All right. Thanks so much for having me. Talk to you soon.
No worries. Thanks, Katie.